traders, Joseph here from Eightcap. Welcome to this week's Trade Zone Asian Session Outlook. So far this morning we're seeing a little bit of a tick higher from risk currencies to the dollar and to the yen. That was after some pretty savage losses to, some, I wouldn't say savage losses, but some losses to finish last week as the dollar really rebounded on Friday's session. You can see that at the moment. It was a commanding performance, and it was a very big fight back after 3 days and 2 exceptionally bad days for the dollar. So we'll continue to watch that one. That might turn out to be a little bit of a story this week. So just looking at some of the risk currencies, we can see some light gains, but the euro really fared pretty badly on the Friday. We can see a very sharp move lower, and then we did see also the Aussie finished rather flat. Resistance is really now set in place around this level here at 67.13, and the pound as well. After a very nice week, we did see a real stall at previous resistance, and that's that 27.81 area. That's pretty firm, that area. We can see a lot of rejection and supply sitting around there, and we've seen two attempts now fail by buyers. So we are in an uptrend. We have a nice move up. We really need to see a break of this area here to show us that this trend is ready to continue. Some of the other stock indices, so we saw new records for the Dow. It did finish off highs as the US dollar sort of bit back into risk market confidence and demand, but it was a very lovely week last week for the US 30. It does look very things do look quite drawn out at the moment. If the dollar does continue to fight back, it wouldn't surprise us if we did see a bit of a pullback this week. Nothing goes up forever, so if we did see a bit of a pullback, it wouldn't be a surprise. And similar story for the other US indexes as well. Bit of very minor resistance above 16,605, and for the S&P, same story. We've got a bit of minor resistance building above 4719, 50 to 70, and then up to 4736.37 as well. So the yen as well. We'll talk about the yen more in our next video, as in the more economic based video, as there's a big meeting coming up from the Bank of Japan as well this week. So the yen finished last week a little bit higher. We're seeing some buying this morning. A bit of support there for the Aussie to the yen on 94.93. It was an interesting week with all those big gains to get to the dollar. We did see some declines from risk to the yen, and similar story also here. With the euro, we do see some good support forming around this level here. There's plenty of demand at 154.70 and down to really 153.96, and same over on the pound. We see a lot of demand running down to this level here at 178.30, and then higher up we see further demand and support at 179.65. So we'll see if those areas can continue to hold. But with the Bank of Japan, if there's anything changes in the policy, that could really ruffle anything up. So just watch that tomorrow, and we'll just see how some of these levels do fare that we are watching. Now the dollar yen, I'll just let that update. After a lot of declines last week off the back of the dollar really moving lower, we can see a little bit of support coming from this point here at 141.63, and we'll see if that area can materialize into something further as well. So remember, this week it's sort of really the last true trading week. So Christmas is this weekend, and then we have that real flat week, and then into New Year's. So with that, we'll be looking at this week is probably maybe the final week of really more truish volatility in a sense. So we think liquidity is going to, liquidity normally starts to, leave the market to a degree, especially into next week between after Christmas and New Year's. So as a lot of people are on holiday, then the first week of January as well. So there will be some breaks in these reports. They will kick back up from January. With things being that quiet, there's normally not a lot to discuss. So we will, so these reports we'll get back into it from probably just after the first week of January. So, but generally that week, if you are trading, just watch it. There can be some good trends. Historically, we've seen some moves, but it can be very flat as well. And there can be those situations where you can get a bit chewed out as well by ranges. So just be a bit aware of that. Be mindful of that as well. So just having a look at the some of the ASX as it just starts to come online. I think the ASX does have positive influences and today. So you can see after a bit of a mixed session to end the week last week, we'll just see if we can get another test here. Some pretty key resistance setting in up at 74.56. Let's see if buyers can get back up to test that today. There is a little bit of data coming out from the minutes coming out, so we'll just see if that does have any effect during this week for the ASX. And then it's generally just if it is, if US stocks, how they're traveling, and if we do see further buying from those influences. But again, it does remind us of the US indices. It's very drawn out at the moment, and we'll just have to see now if it can get back up to retest this resistance point, just up at this level here at 74.56. Precious metals, we did obviously just see some declines to end last week, so some of them are coming online now. We can see, those falls on silver and gold. At the moment, not too much is happening. Gold slightly higher, and we'll just have to give it a bit of time to see if this up leg here remains in play. There's plenty of resistance here at 2037 for gold, and for silver as well. Not as apparent, but there is some resistance here at 24.18, and similar story as minor support down at 23.73. So I think the real question this week will be is, do we see anything carry forward from that USD momentum, and do we see risk markets continue to push higher towards the end of the week into Christmas, or do we see a bit of a pullback as we finish this, probably the last full liquidity trading week of the year? Cryptos at this stage slightly lower. A few of them have got some ones in front of them and some twos. So Ava and Sol are trading just over 2% lower at this stage, and we're seeing ADA 1.35% lower as it continues to pull back after those highs that set last week. And we can see Ethereum as well is 1% lower. So we have seen a lovely run up. Now I think a lot will come down to buying the rumor and selling the fact. How much of this was driven around that ETF news with BTC. Obviously Ava and ADA had their own influences that were driving them higher, so we'll just see if we do have a bit of a pullback, does that then feed new demand, and then will we see new high lows and further buying to test previous highs? So that will be some of the questions here. We can see Ripple as well getting back down to some range resistance support here. That level to watch is really at 60 cents now. It used to be around that 50 area. We want to see 60 holds. So a few points just to keep an eye on some of the coins. Ava, which had such a really amazing run up in the previous weeks, it is 2 day. It's been trading low for 2 days at the moment. So we'll see if new demand does come back into the market, or if we continue to see softening and pull back maybe down to 38. Just as things work themselves out. It's healthy to see a pullback in a big trend, so we saw one here after touching highs. So then if we did a pullback back to 38, it's not a real big deal. Then we'll just see what goes from there. If we do see demand coming back into the market, we'll see some higher lows, and then new pushes higher from buyers. So the ASX at this stage, we'll just have a look at how it's opening. So 3 minutes past 10, it does open alphabetically, so it does take a little bit of time to get fully going. And at this stage, not too much just yet. So we'll continue to just keep an eye on it as that progresses through the morning. And with a little bit of an interesting session in the US, it might not be the firmest session at this stage for the ASX in the morning. So we'll see how that goes. But as pointed out before, we'll have a second video coming out focusing on economic updates for this week. But the main thing I'm really looking at this week is that dollar strength that we saw to end last week. We're going to see that continue this week, and will that transfer over into other risk markets, seeing further pullbacks during the week as well. So that's it. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you as well for tuning in, and we wish you all the best with your trading, and a very happy holiday season as well. So thanks, and bye for now.